how to create a project structure that can support any app of any type of any scale. How can you ensure that even if you have started with a small product today, later on when it keeps on growing, you will not have to think about your project architecture, you will not have to think about your file folder structure. It will be perfectly okay for any scale of app. This is the fourth video of this project structure series, and today we are taking a look at a backend app to understand how I have architected it, how I have organized it to make it really easy to scale when more features keep on increasing. And as far as why you should listen to me, hello, I am Shubhajit Ghosh. I am a full stack software engineer with more than 6 years of experience. So let's dive in and get to the backend project, right? Okay, so if you see in the root level, there are simple folders like .github for GitHub workflows, editor settings folder, output folder, dist, node modules, source folder, and then some environment files, configuration files, Docker files, nothing crazy, right? Now, if you go inside source, this is the fourth video in the series. Please make sure that you watch the first two videos, because in those first two videos, I have shared the fundamentals, the basics of project architecture, project structure. If you're not familiar with the fundamentals, you will not be able to relate to any, like all of the details that I'm mentioning in this video. So please go ahead and watch them. Then it will be much better for you to relate to this. Okay. So if you open the source folder, you will be able to see I have different sorts of folder inside it. Now in backend, you might have two types of apps. One is you can have an app which is very heavy in terms of API endpoints, like it has a lot of API endpoints. And then there can be other sort of backend app which does not have that many API endpoints, but is very heavy in terms of services or backend processes, something like that. In both of those cases, this particular fundamental or this particular theory that I'm going to tell you, it will need some little adjustment, but 80% of it is going to stay the same. So the concept is, for this particular backend, I knew from the beginning that it will end up having a lot of API endpoints. So that is why all of these folders are actually endpoints. So there is an admin endpoint, there is auth endpoint, campaign, interact, payment, and so on and so forth. There is only a common folder called shared, where I have kept different sorts of methods, constant, which are gonna get used by like multiple of these particular routes, these particular endpoints. Right, but endpoint specific things, if you open in that folder, there you will find so types, services, or schemas, controllers. So these are only getting used inside this endpoint only. Okay, now the difference that I said in the beginning, since I knew from the beginning that it is going to have a lot of endpoints, that is why just under the source in the root level, I made sure that I create the different folders keeping endpoints in mind. But let's say you came across an app where you do not have that many endpoints, but you know that it is very heavy in terms of services, then you can also do a different sorts of organization of the folder. So instead of putting the endpoints at the root or just under source you can have another folder called endpoints or routes or navigation, something like that, and then keep all of the endpoints inside that folder. And instead of keeping a shared folder, whatever goes inside the shared folder, you can bring it out and keep under the source in the root level. That is also a way. There is no disadvantage or advantage to any of them. It's just up to your preference, personal preference. So use either of them. Okay. One thing to keep in mind is, let's say your particular endpoint becomes really big. So for example, if you see this campaign folder, under the campaign folder, I have 3 subfolders: analytics, data, and message. The reason, let's say I had this admin route, and inside this admin endpoint, I had around 15 to 20 endpoints, let's say, for creating, getting data, managing, and stuff like that. But when you will encounter endpoints which will end up having a lot of different sorts of methods, let's say 50, 60, 70 different endpoints, then it's better to divide them, to categorize them. Then in that way, it will be much easier for you to maintain. Right. So that is why I have subcategorized the campaign into data, analytics, and message. And under those, you will find the same architecture, which is controller, service, module. They are going to get used in analytics or data or message. So as I was saying in first two videos, that it does not matter which level you look at, root level, parent level, or under any module, any sub module. I have followed this global part and local part to make sure to have a glance at the project and understand which part is getting used where. If you have any question regarding this video, if you have any question regarding this architecture, then please drop a comment. I will be more than happy to go through them. And if you have any questions, then please let me know. I will be more than happy to cover it. The last part of this series is gonna drop tomorrow. So till tomorrow, take care and thank you very much.